Alright guys, we are going to get into this game. Westside versus Beach King.
Yes, and in the blue corner we have Westside, uh, JKL30 on support, Naxo 80 carry, iBuzzy in the jungle, RDX in the mid lane, and Clock in the top lane.
Holy crap, you remembered that? I'm impressed.
Okay, if you don't remember the Beach Kings, I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
Matt
please.
Singh, Matt Singh on support, Kenwin Jones in the jungle, the Lolacost in the 80 carry, Tiny Taker in the top lane, and Manny Healy in the crap. What I miss?
Jungle? I
Mid.
think you missed Jungle. Mud
No,
mid.
no.
So
Kenwin
we see Westside banning out Thresh, Blitzcrank, Zac. Beach King banning out Nunu, Ari, and Renekton, and the immediate pickup of Sona by Westside. So I
Yeah.
think they might be trying to go back for that little poke comp that they seem to like to do.
Well, Sona is one of JKL's main supports, so it's really no surprise to see that picked up first. And I mean, again, Ari banned out, not available again for RDX. No one wants to let that through again for him. It was already in there once today.
I got a feeling Jones is going to try to... Oh, wait, no, Zac is banned. I think he might be going Jarvan. I'm going to go on a Jarvan pick here. He might not pick it during his turn, but I think that's what he's going to go for.
Yeah, Jarvan is one of those popular junglers today. I think it's actually 100% picked so far today as well. I could be wrong on that.
Oh, actually, a Mumu jungle being locked in here. Interesting. I think that's the first one we've seen. And Nami being hovered over again, though. And
That's
that
what we
would be
have.
locked in.
That's one we haven't seen so far. I don't think any this week so far is a Mumu pick. It's not entirely uncommon, but it's as powerful as Curse of the Sad Mummy is. Mumu is one of the tank junglers that really needs a good start more than any others do. He's very weak to counter jungling. If he gets put behind, he's really only a bandage toss if he gets a late level 6.
We see Naxo not hovering over Ezreal. This could be interesting. We could be seeing some good variety coming out here this time.
Yeah, Caitlyn also another one with a really high pick percentage today as well. The last 2 games actually, we saw a Caitlyn versus Ezreal lane. We might actually see that again if he locks in that Caitlyn.
Yeah, we'll see what these guys decide to go with. Already you can see, though, that Beach King is trying to go for this AoE composition with the ultimate combines from Matt Singh and Jones there. So we'll see what they try to follow up with that composition. Evelyn has been locked in, so by the looks of it, they're going to be trying to go for a lot of early snowball on Westside. Varus being insta-locked, however, on Beach King.
Yeah, that's a very quick Varus pick against a Caitlyn nonetheless. It's actually one of the 80 carries that can handle Caitlyn a little better. Varus has a little bit of a burst damage. If you can get a couple of auto attacks, get the blight stacks on, and then pop a piercing arrow or a hail of arrows even, you can proc that for a little bit of extra percent health damage in the early game and get really match Caitlyn in the trades that she can put out.
And we can actually, we're really seeing this AoE initiation composition coming out from Beach King here. With and still we're seeing it again with the Shen pick being hovered over here. We can see almost all of these champions have the ability to initiate on their own, even the AD carry. And with the combination of all of their ultimates combined and Shen's taunt, it can be it can lock down a team quite devastatingly.
Yeah, the AD carry initiate is one you really need to. It's never something that's you're used to having there, even on your team or against your team. Ashe and Varus are really the only 2 champions capable of that. Varus ults are notorious for being whiffed at least 80% of the time.
Oh man, the amount of times I cringe when I see a Varus on my team in solo queue.
Yeah, chain of corruption everywhere, field goals all over the place.
RDX hovering over Twisted Fate. I believe that's another one of his favorite champions that he enjoys to play quite a bit. And I think we might actually see another Renekton pickup here from Clock.
Yeah,
we'll see what he decides to go for, though.
RDX so far that we've seen is really a fan of those kind of assassin-ish, not like direct assassin like a Kha'Zix or a Zed or someone, but it's like kind of a backline assassin in an Ari or a Twisted Fate, especially late game. If RDX chooses to go for a Deathfire Grasp Lich Bane combination, oh no, he switches over to Pantheon a little there. A little bit of global pressure, actually still there. Both Twisted Fate and Pantheon have pseudo global ultimates with the Grand Skyfall and the Destiny. Now a Caston actually being swapped to. That's a little bit surprising. It looks like Are
I'm a little confused now because they picked at the same time. So are they intending for like a top lane Kassadin? Is that what their goal is here?
it looks like they may be lane swapping. In in
That
my
could be a possibility too.
in
I'm
my
curious to
opinion,
see what they're trying to do here.
that's almost certainly a lane swap, and it's something we're not too unused to seeing from West Side. RDX has been known to go in different roles, like when they have to bring a sub in, but I haven't seen him top lane quite yet. Actually, I lie. He was top lane Jace yesterday, I believe. And Clock was a mid lane Nidalee in their poke comp.
And man trolling us a little bit more with the Heimerdinger pick. He knows how we feel. But I wouldn't mind seeing a Heimerdinger pick. I really wouldn't.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty interesting to see, but I somehow doubt that's what's going to be locked in here.
yeah. Right now, Beach Kings is just missing a mid laner. Heimerdinger, while we don't take it entirely seriously, would fill the role. It is a mid lane champion. A
But
few seconds.
Oriana coming out, fitting their composition so perfectly that I really want to point out here. We can just see how all of these champions' abilities mesh so well together. You can see that you can tell that this is a team comp that they've practiced and they've been waiting to pull out now. And I'm kind of excited to see how much they've practiced with it and how well it works out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how on top of the uh, shockwaves that Manny is. He has a couple of ways with the ball delivery system on the bandage toss and the shadow dash, really just to get there and get as many people locked down as possible. Uh, if you, especially if you put the ball on top of the Amumu, you already have the ball in a perfect position to shockwave on top of Curse of the Sad Mummy. They actually have about the same radius, I believe. Shockwave may be a bit smaller than Curse of the Sad Mummy, but
It
actually,
is, yeah.
the Curse of the Sad Mummy, the radius has been reduced recently. So the size of them is a little bit more similar now than it was before. But
Chances are, if you are caught in Curse of the Sad Mummy, you're gonna get shockwave though.
pretty
So
much.
yeah. But
Especially because you already have someone perfectly in the middle of that with the Amumu.
we do see Westside going for a very snowbally type team. We like Pantheon is notorious for being an absolute lane dominator and snowballs incredibly well. If he decides to go in the mid lane cast, which I think is what we're expecting, right? He'd be able to bot lane is notorious for getting camped when there is a mid lane casted in. Or sorry, Pantheon. Kassadin is also notorious for heavy snowballing. Evelyn also is pretty notorious for snowballing games really hard, and she's really good at it too, considering she's one of the only junglers that can sneak past wards without really caring about them.
Yeah, that's another good point to make. With the Evelyn there, Beach Kings are going to have to pay the Evelyn tax of pink warding everywhere instead of normal sight wards. You're going to have to chunk out those vision wards just to be able to see iBuzzy lurking around. One thing we haven't mentioned yet, I don't like to mention summoner spells while teams are still actually in champion select, but
Yeah, yeah.
iBuzzy has gone without flash. He's gone pure offensive with the ignite and smite. He just wants to really, I guess, aid in ganks, kill secure with the ignite, and just snowball himself on top of his laners as much as possible.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything also right now because they should just be getting into their game right now. But typically, when you see a jungler like that with Ignite, you see it on Shake all the time. You know he's trying to mess with your head. You know he's going to gank a lane that you're not expecting, and he's going to try to fish for that first blood. We're not sure where he's going to go, and of course it's Evelyn. It's going to be hard to tell, but you can tell that this is what they're fishing for. They're fishing for that early snowball, and they're going to fight for it.
Yeah, and that's a team. It's not the best team fighting again. They're relying on picks, especially with Agony's Embrace, the stun from RDX's Pantheon, or a silence from Clock. It's if they can catch one target out again, and they actually have quite a few squishy targets on Beach Kings to catch out. It's not really going to work quite as well if Tiny Tanker is quick with the reaction with Stand United. But if they can catch someone out, they are going to melt them extremely quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. And we do see quite a few squishy targets available on the team. Nami, Varus, and Oriana are quite squishy. Although Oriana's shield does scale quite well into the late game, she is still a fairly squishy long-range mage. So if she does get caught out, she will melt right away.
Yeah, and likewise, there is no dedicated tank on West Side either.
Oh
They
yes,
if they get caught out, they're melting just about equally as fast. Especially with their percent health damage from Varus, it's going to. I mean, it's not the best against a not so tanky team. Usually, if you want percent health damage on your team, you're wanting to use that against some fairly beefy targets. No one really on West Side is like that. We could see a pseudo tank Evelyn coming out, but normally what we see from Evelyn jungle these days, you rush Spirit of the Elder Lizard, get the burn damage on your hate spikes, and just gank, clear, burn down your targets, burn down the camps, and it really just works out well for you. No tankiness though.
You also see a lot of them when they actually get that snowball going for that DFG as well, for that really quick burst damage that can go down. So we'll see what build path these guys decide to go. I am really curious to see what they decide to do with their very squishy team composition.
Yeah. And skin intimidation factor, once again, 1, 4, 3, actually in favor of Beach Kings. Always the arcade Sona, the only Sona skin I actually like personally. All the others are similar to her base skin. We also have TPA Shen, Blight Crystal Varus, and Zone Chaos Oriana. I was tempted to say Gladys there, but I didn't.
I know it reminds me quite a bit of those Portal games. I do miss them quite a bit. I do hope Portal 3 gets announced someday.
And I mentioned this yesterday. It's West Side is. It's a little funny how they have their summoner icons all with those minions, each one a different purple side minion. It just looks so nice.
Absolutely. So these are the final matches. This is going to be a best of 3, guys. Next tournament, I do believe, don't quote me on this, should be sometime next week. If you guys are interested in joining the next tournament, there is a sign-up sheet down near the bottom, underneath the stream, I do believe. There should be a sign-up sheet that you guys can take a look at. It should be a big Google image icon. Just says Google on it. You can click on that, sign up your team. It is Gold 1 and below only for the amateur tournament. So please feel free to sign up and we can get you into the next tournament. Yeah, click on the Google. Click on the Google.
And one thing I didn't mention about the summoner spells, each team has a teleport. This is a Shen with a teleport, and even then, Stand United, he can get down to a lane, save a carry, and get back up to his own lane before the turret drops to actually the very quick pushing Pantheon. He is going to build a lot of attack damage, so he's going to melt turrets once he gets to them.
I feel like they just really want to rely on that split push, and especially with this kind of an initiation comp, you want to be able to kind of push the turret in, wait for that initiation, and Shen come in, just kind of stand united in, save whoever is taking a lot of the damage from the initiation, and then continue on the team fight from there. Plus with the teleport, it's even more global pressure. He could just be anywhere he wants, and if one of those skills is up, he can just roam wherever he feels like.
Yeah, and also the teleport unclocks Kassadin as well. It's one of those mid laners you normally want to teleport on. Ibuzzy getting spotted out by Jones here, but Jones is in a 1v2 for the minute.
We'll see like a pretty good engage going in here. Buzzy actually getting a little bit caught out. A lot of burst damage going out. Jones has to flash away. Flash going down for Buzzy. Just lives with the skin of his teeth, barely getting away. Really close level 1 fight going on here. And it looks like the purple team's going to be aggressive. Flash taunt going on to JK. That would be first blood for Varus. Yeah,
that was almost unexpected. JKL didn't expect the flash taunt. They thought they got away. He didn't really bother burning the flash, but Ibuzzy getting dropped very low. That was just because he didn't have his own flash in that engagement. He would have been he would have survived a lot more of that. I believe that was every single flash burned on Beach Kings for that kill. Clock roaming around a little towards this top lane. No one really wanted to catch him out. They really just want the blue buff right now.
And that looks like what they're going to be going for. I think they're just going to give it up. It looks like RDX might be trying to come back in here. Although Clock is in a little bit of a dangerous position. Shen does have that taunt. So if he gets too close, it might be a bit of trouble for him.
Yeah, they would be going in blind. You see already some cupcakes around that. Actually, yeah, all 3 cupcake traps around Beach Kings' blue buff. And it looks like Westside will rotate around to trade blues there.
Yeah, and it looks like Evelyn's going to run over there as soon as they can. Try to pick that up as soon as they can. And it looks like we might just get a lane swap, but it does look like there will be a lane swap coming out here for Westside.
Yeah, and it's actually both teams playing on a sort of lane swap.
Getting into a little bit of a dangerous position here. Almost getting dropped down completely low. Has to burn through a lot of his health potions. Won't get out though. I don't think he was anticipating the lane swap coming up, so he is pretty low and is going to get zoned out of a lot of experience now. We do see Caitlyn and Sona heading up there, though. Looks like they might be just trying to go back for that lane swap. Or they could just be lane swapping mid, actually.
This is quite an interesting lane swap. You have the Shen mid. Not something you'd normally expect. Now Oriana is in the long lane. It seems like she was one who would fare a little more well in the 1v2 scenario than a Shen would.
She's actually going for a lane swap now with the Shen. to get out of that position. It looks like they're trying to keep the certain lane matchups that they were trying to they originally planned, and they're trying to keep to that as best as they can. And
Cameron Jones coming around this mid lane.
Going in, gets the talent down onto Nexo. Nexo getting a really low barrier being dropped down, has to flash away. Buzzy coming in from the side. Looks like everybody's going to get away just fine. Jones taking a lot of damage though, but will get away. Oh.
And I want to talk about these lane swaps a little more. Now that Manny is back in the mid lane, he is in the 1v2, but I wouldn't say they wanted the 1v2, but it's the lane swap they were going for. He's the one that can farm safer from a distance. Command attack and command dissonance, really able to get him that relatively easy 1v2 farm. Kassadin in the top lane though is, I think, really the one they were trying to deny, and it's working out so far.
Buzzy coming in from behind, might be trying to get a sneaky little gank off. Gets a silence down onto Lollicott. A lot of burst damage coming down. He's trying to kite the best he can. Ignite going down onto Lollicott. Barrier being burned down, and Lollicott will fall down to Buzzy.
Yeah, that's a double ignite. Now it looks like a double kill.
Matsing being forced to flash away.
Yeah, and I was wrong earlier about all flashes being burned. It was instead the... Oh wow, Clock getting caught out now here by a bubble.
Matsing actually taking a lot of damage. One more Q from Evelyn, and he's finished off too. Looks like that might have been a little bit of a miscommunication, accidentally going back in like that. Or maybe they just didn't see the Evelyn was still there.
Yeah, he probably was
coming in from around, might try to get a little bit of a cleanup crew thing going here. Kassadin is going to try to juke away. Looks like he's going to try and focus out the Kassadin. Kassadin still doesn't have Rift Block or Flash Up, so this could be a kill for Mumu.
Red buff.
Looks like he's trying to go aggressive. He's going to dive it.
Oh,
and wow. Buzzy will let him live though.
Yeah, Jones is going to want to get away from this very quickly though. He does have an Evelyn chasing after him, and his caster minion chasing after him as well. Not a caster, it's a melee minion. Anyway, red buff Bandage Toss got on that kill.
So I do want to point out, Shen and Pantheon here. Pantheon 23 CS to Shen 6. RDX is doing a pretty decent job of holding this lane as long as he can without it pushing to the tower so that the free farm can be coming up. He's letting as many minions get denied before the lane pushes against two Tiny Tanker there. So Tiny Tanker is kind of a little bit desperate for some minion kills at this point.
Yeah, and we've been talking before about Shen's being able to farm well under their turret. That's not something that Tiny Tanker is doing that well this game. And actually the top lane turret dropping there, that's a very early 5.5 minute turret, 1k gold advantage now back, well actually about 500 gold overall advantage back in favor of Beach Kings. But a lot of that CS disadvantage I would say is due to the lane swaps that are going around. The whole time RDX was in that bot lane, he was the one free farming. Meanwhile, Tiny Tanker and Manny had to switch lanes between mid and bot, and it really lost that Shen a lot of time for farming.
Yeah, and he was getting pretty punished for that earlier on by getting denied very heavily. We might see an engagement going on down to the mid lane. Banditshaw's going on to Nexo. Double just getting onto Sona there, and it looks like everybody was just disengaged. Ignite going down onto Sona though.
A very delayed Ignite there. I believe that was Manny. Yeah, Manny is the only one who has Ignite on that team. He's out of mana, so he's having to disengage. Kenwin caught out in the jungle, though.
Buzzy hanging around the side, seeing if he can get into anything here. I think they're just going to let the Caitlyn farm get a little bit of minion kills and see what they can sneak up here. I think they might just be continuing on the farm fest in mid, though.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that iBuzzy had been spotted out there. I did see Jones walk through, and I don't know if he really spotted out that Evelyn, but it's very possible that Beach Kings was suspecting iBuzzy was hanging around in mid lane. You know, Nax was actually kind of out of mana too, so he doesn't really have a net or Peacemaker to throw in anyone's direction.
We do see Buzzy coming around here, looking to get into an invade. A Mumu taking.
He did walk right over Pink Ward.
Yeah, so they do know he's coming, but it doesn't look like he's going to try anything, so he will be backing off.
And he still wants to stick it around. Jones is here to counter gank just in case iBuzzy looks for anything. But I think he knows he's spotted by now just because of everyone's positioning. He doesn't really know where the Pink Ward is, but he knows he has been spotted.
Alright, so let's take a look at our AP mids then. So we have Kassadin and Orianna. Actually, even on CS, Kassadin already has his tier, almost got his Catalyst complete. 1 death and 2 assists. So this is kind of looking like a little bit in favor of Kassadin. He's starting to get a little bit stronger as the game keeps going on. And with him being top lane, it kind of kills a lot of his roaming potential, but he does have teleport. So we'll see how that goes. He rift walks right into Jones, see how this is going to play out for him.
Yeah, and one thing about that, now that the normally mid laners are in top lane, or at least might be in top lane as they keep roaming back towards mid, it really puts Manny at a disadvantage because he's nowhere near his blue buff. Right now, Cock is picking up his own blue buff, and I say that Manny actually goes to his own. Both of them getting their own blue buffs, and I retract my statement completely. Naxo taking very low here.
Oh, Matsing actually taking a couple of turret shots. They're really low, but so is Naxo. So it looks like they're just going to try and disengage. Don't want to risk giving away any free kills. Everybody's going to back off. Go back, shop a little bit, heal up, come back to lane.
That piercing arrow actually would have killed Naxo, but he perfectly timed his barrier there. Ace and Hole going towards Matsing, but nowhere near enough to kill him there. Especially with
Flash coming down from Matsing, trying to get it down to dissonance. Doesn't quite get it onto Naxo. Kirsik is actually trying to land an ultimate there, though.
Yeah, I think he was looking for the shockwave, but after he flashed, he realized it wasn't really the ideal position. He really could have only got onto JKL and wasn't even really in killing range for that shockwave.
The problem that actually happened there was that the ball was so far behind him after he flashed that there was the delay for the ball to catch back up to where he was and then go to the target. So the time it took for the ball to actually reach towards where Caitlyn was far long gone.
Now we have a 3-man push on this mid lane. It's also a 3-man defense team. You're going to be able to keep this turret alive, but it's already down to about half health after that one push.
Yeah, sorry, the enemy purple team's mid lane turret is also about the same health too, so we'll see how this goes back down. Mid laners are coming back, but it is still a 3v2 situation.
Yeah, and
looks like they're going to be able to get a lot of free damage down onto this turret though.
Naxo caught out by a bubble here. He might actually go down to the shockwave. No, Manny decides to hold on to the shockwave again after that.
Trying to save it. I think he's trying to save it for the best circumstance he can.
And one thing we're seeing in this game, it's 1-0 in turrets. The goal lead still actually about 500 in team name. Crap.
West Side and
Beach Kings.
Beach Kings, yes.
The Beach Boys. As you keep going, it's in Beach King's favor right now. Still, it's about the same advantage. So Westside has been able to keep that where it is the whole time, and it's really everyone equally farming. But it looks like Beach Kings is just trying to rotate and take these turrets one at a time. They've had this 3-man push in mid lane for about a good 5 minutes or so, I'd say now. Pretty much ever since that top turret went down at 5.5.
Yeah, they've been trying their best to push this out. They do have a super or a cannon minion on this one, and an ultimate going off, spreading out to Sona. So just barely missing the Aqua Prism. Tidal Wave goes down, does hit the Sona, but she is already too far away to follow up on the engagement.
Still no shockwave getting used there. Manny is very stingy with that cooldown. They may have even gotten another kill onto JKL after that if they decided to use it.
Alright, so everybody's still doing fine, continuing on to the farm game, trying to get these turrets down. We'll take a look at the CS scores while we're here. So we see the Varus is 73, Caitlyn 64. So a little bit of an advantage towards the CS in Varus there. But he also, sorry, excuse me. Pantheon is sitting at 71, so Shen's 43, so he is still quite a bit ahead. We see that Shen has already picked up that Chain Vest. Probably going to try and rush that Sunfire as soon as he can. Help him deal with the damage from Pantheon as well.
Yeah, after Tiny Tanker got a few levels under his belt, he's really been able to keep the CS a disadvantage where it was after all the lane swap craziness went down. Not getting a little overextended in the top lane, but he is casting. He will get away.
You see Buzzy kind of waiting around the bottom bush here at bottom turret here, trying to see what she can get, but she will get spotted out by Nami, get Aqua Prison, and just retreat away.
That was a blind Aqua Prison. There was absolutely no vision in there.
I think that was just a lucky guess.
There was actually the pink ward that you see down there in that tri-bush, and I believe he actually walked over that, and just Matsing had the spidey senses, reflexes to put that bubble right on top of him. And I guess iBuzzy was a little caught out there. He didn't really know he had been spotted.
Yeah, RDX returning back to lane. Looks like Nami's coming to help out the Shen with the pushing a little bit. Varus is soloing against the Kassadin by himself right now. Not too much aggression going on though. Just continuation of the farm fest. Quick is going into Lollicos right now, getting a huge amount of burst damage with Null Sphere, but will back off.
Yeah, one thing that Matsing has really been on top of today is those bubbles. I believe he also had Nami in the last game as well. I could be wrong.
Yes.
But
there goes Smash Shockwave, but Knight going down onto Naxo. Man is trying to catch up. Nami is right beside her. Tidal Wave going down, barrier being dropped. A lot of burst damage being going down. Exhaust is put down. She must get away. Yeah, just barely gets away. Sona Crescendo is being used though.
So much used there for nothing in return. Only the summoners burned on Naxo really
Oh, they'll be able to get this turret for that.
Yeah, they will get. They may or may not actually get that turret. Yeah, it's low. Kenwin, Jones, and Manny will be able to finish that off. 0-2 in turrets now. A little over a 1k gold advantage now in their favor. It seemed like Westside was able to cash back up that small advantage in farm alone. You can see the CS advantage going in their favor for just about every lane except the AD carries. They were able to catch up all the laners and the junglers really farming up and getting that back to where they wanted it, and the gold is even. Now that the turret is down, it is another 1k in Beach King's favor, and looks like Westside might try to pressure around Dragon soon.
Yeah, Westside doing a little bit of a ward dance around. They're cleaning out the wards whatever they can, but they do see Amumu's nearby. They might try to actually pin him down here. Stun goes down onto Amumu. Also burst damage comes down. He's taking a lot of damage. Ignite goes down. Curse of the Sad Mummy is used. Also Stand United. He goes back in. Actually falls to the spear shot.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't want to do against the Pantheon. When you're low health, he has guaranteed critical strikes against you. Buzzy actually still in the middle of the Beach Kings right here. He might get caught out, but no, the teleport comes in.
Flash being used by Matsing there. Looks like they're gonna just try to disengage. Probably just gonna get a free dragon for Beach Kings now. Oh no, he's actually going in onto Mad now.
Ace and Hole being used. Manny taken very low, down to 100 health. Tiny Tank.
Why is he getting a little bit deep there? Actually dies to the turret. Nexo will pick up the kill. Actually, Shockwave under the turret. That should Drake a drop. Maddie actually lives, and will be able to get away. Just with the Shockwave under the turret to Caitlyn.
Westside was getting very aggressive there. They wanted those low health targets, just could not finish anything off. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Holocaust has started his damage on that inner mid turret. He will get a nice bit of damage on before anyone can come to defend it, but it looks like he'll back off for now.
Jones putting down a pink ward, going to try to regain vision of that dragon, and I'm sure we're going to see another dragon fight coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah, that entire fight was just Westside kind of teasing around Dragon. They wanted to take it, but a fight broke out instead. They got a little greedy with kills and instead lost their lives and Dragon control in the process. Meanwhile, Holocaust has been left to free farm, not just in the mid lane, but top now. He has about a 40 CS advantage over his lane opponent, and really you can't see it in the items quite yet. He's sitting on about 1.8k gold. He looks to spend, well, right now actually, probably finish that Bloodthirster, maybe finish his boots as well. Not sure what he wants to buy after that, but no, he's going for a pickaxe. He doesn't want the Infinity Edge pretty soon. Finishes the Berserker's Greaves. Meanwhile, Caitlyn really only has bits and pieces of a Bloodthirster along with the Berserker's Greaves as well. It's not entirely ideal. She is about 30-40 CS behind. Top laners, Shen still down around about 40 CS at this point. Actually, that gap has grown a little. Jungles are even. Mids are about 12 CS apart, not too significant of an advantage for Cox Cassidy, but I can't even really say mid laners or top laners anymore. They've been all over the place this game.
Yeah, this has been a very back and forth game just in terms of lane positioning. It's very interesting. Looks like Westside is going to try to siege this mid turn and they might be able to get away with it. But there is a very strong wave clear coming out for Matt.
Yeah, once again, Matsing on top of those bubbles.
It looks like Amumu might actually be getting pinched off here in the top lane. Doesn't look like Cathion's going to go in for the engage though. Oh, there we go. Stun going down onto him. Huge amount of burst damage coming off. He's going to leave the kill for RTX, and that would be a dead Amumu in top lane and possibly a free turret. But in the mid lane, Matsing actually picking up the kill on Sona. Looks like Command Shockwave was used, so
actually
that is an ultimate down.
3 ultimates used to pick up that kill on JKL. Shockwave, Chain Corruption, and Tidal Wave. They would get a kill and maybe a second kill and a turret for their troubles.
Naxo getting dropped down too. Wow.
Every single bubble landing for Matsing. I cannot stop complimenting those.
I think he's only missed 1 or 2 so far this entire game.
It's not just this game. He was landing them all last game as well. Pretty much whenever it matters and whenever it doesn't. Matsing is really good at that Nami, and he's showing it.
Yeah, it's quite an impressive Nami play. You can see how well he's comfortable with that champion. Looks like they might be trying to go for a Dragon now.
Yeah, it looks like they will. Matsing just getting a little vision control. No one really around the Dragon area. He just wants to clear the wards, he doesn't really have any. He actually does have a pink ward still on him. He hasn't used. He wants to save that for Evelyn control, I guess. The Evelyn tax. You can see a
Gotta
bunch
pay your
of
Evelyn tax.
everyone paying the Evelyn tax. It looks like RDX looking for a 1v2 in this bot lane. Pick on the Matsing.
Huge amount of damage coming down to Matsing. Will get taunted though. Is he gonna manage to get that spear shot? Actually gets bubbled and Matsing will live.
Another bubble landing. If
We need to keep like a countdown on these.
Yeah, we need to go back and count these later. New stat: how many Aqua Prisons that Matsing lands?
My goodness.
One thing I haven't seen yet this game is a Grand Skyfall. This is a level 12 Pantheon. I haven't seen even one use of that
That's
ult.
very true, yeah. I think it actually, RDX getting taunted on a turret. Mumu kind of, seems like he lagged out a little bit, actually banned his toss, but nobody was really in range. Didn't actually manage to get
The stun off and combo it off. Otherwise, that could have been quite an interesting team fight there.
My point with the Grand Skyfall is, if that would have been a Twisted Fate, they were hovering over that in the champion select screen. But if it was a TF, Matsing would have been killed. He would have had the vision and the gate. Oh, JKL now getting caught up by a bandage toss.
RDX is getting dropped down really low. Cassidy coming in trying to get as much burst damage down. Meanwhile, Amumu taking down Sono in the middle of the river. They're doing their best to take out this turret. Cassidy is retreating. RDX is coming back trying to help out the rest of his team. Cassidy is silencing and slowing down Amumu. They're doing their best to catch it up. Oh, Command Shockwave actually catching out.
Wow, that was just a great combination of ultimates being used by the entire team. They're catching them all off guard.
And a lot of that had to do with the fact that Naxo wasn't even participating in the fight. He wanted the turret, but his team needed him in the fight. A very quick Shockwave distance was able to finish off RDX and just eliminate him from that fight. He was only a little above half health when that landed, but he was melted as soon as the Shockwave landed. It looks like Naxo should still be able to pick up this bottom lane turret. It's very low health. Could wave clear, but he is against the Varus wave clear as well, trying to get through that. And turret will still live. It's around about 310 health.
Yeah, and Varus ultimate is down, so he won't really be able to have too much to stop this Caitlyn. They are relatively even in damage. So I think Caitlyn will be able to pick this up for free now.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is the Avarice Blade now on Caitlyn. He realizes he's a little bit behind in farm, so he's picked up the extra gold for 10 item, looking eventually to finish that into a static shiv.
I think I remember some streamers saying that Avarice Blade is going to be like the first big pickup for most 80 carries now, because it actually gives bonus gold per kill on minions. So you can farm it up for quite a long time.
And there's actually several 80 carries that synergizes a little better with, like Ashe in particular. And if you have a Twisted Fate on your team, it's a lot of bonus gold. And actually Draven now as well, his new passive.
Yeah.
The League of Draven. A lot of extra gold, actually on kill. Not so much minions, it's just champion kills. That's a very
dragon being picked up here though for
that was a very quick dragon. Bubble Mist.
Yeah.
The bubble mist.
There we go, 1-0.
Looking for RDX, not quite finding it there. They didn't have any vision in that bush. I think he was banking on someone else being there besides RDX. And he missed it. But nah. Dragon goes to Beach Kings, now with about 3,500 gold advantage. They're up 2 turrets and now 1 dragon. The first dragon of the game. No, not 2 turrets, 1 turret. I thought 3 was a 4 for some reason. Yeah, my contacts must be getting a little blurry right now. Yeah. Back to it. 1 turret up, 1 dragon up, a little bit of farm, and 4 kills up, actually.
I actually see almost a 4k gold lead coming out for Beach Kings as well. So this is actually a pretty decent gold lead for this point in the game as well. Looks like Westside is going to try to siege down this middle tower though.
Yeah, and pretty much all of Beach Kings is in position to defend this. Really, you can count the Sandy United as Shen being there, but RDX looking for another pick onto Matsing there. Won't quite find it. They will take the turret down. 3 for 3.
Mumu is sitting over there by the raids there.
It looks like he's just ready to pounce.
Actually gets down onto the Sona. Doesn't quite get cursed to the Sam. He only catches RTX and Shen all coming in. Sona Crescendo going across the entire team. Naxo getting caught out. Barrier and Flash being burnt on him. RDX will take down Nami, but he will drop. And it looks like everybody else is going to get away pretty decently. Oh, Ace in the hole getting dropped down, getting tanked down by the Amumu.
Clock is actually trying to get around the side to pick up the kills.
Bandage shots will land on him, but Amumu is out of mana.
Won't be able to follow up with that.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out about the beginning of that fight. My timing is really messed up with the stream. Oh well, Shockwave now landing on our Buzzy. Very quickly dropped. Anyway, beginning of that fight, Pantheon, RDX was very quick to stun Jones's Amumu. He would have had a 4-man Curse of the Sad Mummy there, but that was a very quick stun, and it managed to get pretty much everyone except himself out of that ultimate.
Yeah, it was actually really well played. I'm not even sure if they realize exactly how well played that was for them and how much that actually benefited them. Is that little stun that actually pretty much saved their entire team fight.
Yeah, and they got the turret out of that as well. Now they're 4-3 up in turrets. Just a minute ago they were 2-3 down, and it looks like Tiny Tinker has a disconnect, and now a pause out.
Pause going down for that.
A little bit of connection issues here. Quick disconnect, reconnect. He should be back in really soon. Short pause, shortest pause as possible. That tongue twister. It should be as short of a pause as possible. There.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get started again in a second here.
It did say he reconnected already. I'm not entirely sure why the pause is still going on. He's probably just reloading in.
Yeah, I think he might actually just relog his client here. We'll see what's going on.
Anyway, I guess we can pause now. We
can take a look at team comps and stuff now.
The gold lead has been shrunk down to about 1.2 thousand, still in favor of Beach Kings, but they are now down a turret. They're still up a dragon and up 2 kills. The farm is relatively even across the board, balancing out between all the different leads across the lanes.
The thing about Beach King's team comp, though, is that the later this game drags out, the stronger they become, but the later this game drags out for West Side, the weaker they tend to become. Pantheon is notorious for falling off like a truck late game. Caitlyn doesn't quite match up with some of the other AD carriers. Varus is especially strong later into the game. So the later this game drags out, the better it actually ends up playing out for Beach Kings.
Yeah, and one thing I want to notice about Naxo's items right now, he doesn't have a completed item. He's sitting on a BF sword, parts of a static shiv, Berserker Greaves, and a long sword. Ooh, Ibuzzy getting caught up by a bandage toss here. He might actually end up going down. No,
actually, Skyfall being used here for the first time. Let's see, it's going to drop right down on Mumu. Just used to save him. Huge amount of damage coming down. Bubble will land onto him, though. And he will drop because of the bubble.
One more bubble and a double.
Oh, and then a great Varus
piercing hail into the blind to pick up the Evelynn as well.
I wouldn't entirely say that was blind, but yeah, Ibuzzy should not have walked back into that. He was already low. He was trying to pick off the last bit of low health, but he was low health himself. And he basically gave a free double kill over to Lollicost for that. Anyway, back to the items.
But yeah, I do find it interesting that Caitlyn's trying to rush the... Oh, she does have a Bloodthirster now. A little bit unconventional that a lot of Caitlyn's tend to pick up. They do try to rush that Infinity Edge, just because of the safety that Caitlyn provides with the great range that she has. So usually if you see a Caitlyn going for the Bloodthirster, it means that she's running a little bit behind, isn't quite where she would like to be.
Yeah, normally you want the Infinity Edge in there to synchronize with your headshots. That is basically a free crit in every few hits. And you can get the Infinity Edge passive stacked on top of that to just do a ton of more damage. Instead of going for that, she's gone for the Bloodthirster, and parts of the static shiv she still hasn't finished quite yet. Her counterpart, however, has an Infinity Edge, a Vamp Scepter, and a Zeal, along with the Berserker Greaves, and it's showing that Naxo is behind right now. He's down 40 CS, he's down 3 kills and 2 assists. He's up a turret, but they're down a dragon, and overall, the 1k lead that was there has expanded back to about 3,000 or 4,000.
Yeah, and this is the problem that we were talking about in terms of the very snowbally team, that is if they don't get that snowball early on, it can really detriment them, especially against a team comp like this that has such a strong and dominant late game.
Yeah, and we have to go back to the point, there's still no dedicated tank for West Side. The tankiest person, I think, right now would ironically be Cassidy.
Yeah.
Because he has the Rod of Ages in there. He's the one getting extra health. There's a little health from the Landry's Torment on Evelynn, a little health on the Black Cleaver, but that's it.
The thing is, they have 3 assassins on this team. So their goal is they're trying to get to the back line as fast as they can and finish off Squishies, but I mean, Beach King's comp is just totally designed against that. They can do so much to stop their back line from even getting touched, that it's going to be really hard for these guys to lock down their priority targets.
And everyone, going back to the bubbles, everyone is really good at disengaging on that team. There's not quite the level of disengage we saw from last game, where basically everyone had something built in their kit to get them out of a fight. But something like the bubbles, the tidal wave, even something like a Shockwave can really just disengage a fight for Beach Kings, and they can get out of any unfavorable engagement, turn the fight back around, peel for Holocaust, and really just start the fight over and win.
Absolutely. I think we're going to be getting around the phase where Baron Dance is going to try to start happening now pretty soon here. We're going to get a lot of wards going down there. We actually see quite a fair bit of wards around the Baron area right now. And I think pretty soon we're going to be seeing teams just try to get that Baron buff and then push as hard as they can.
That thing is caught out.
That thing actually has to flash over the wall there. Good escape though. I don't think did he land a bubble to get away from that one?
I didn't notice. I will rewind and check.
So Shen actually teleporting top lane, seeing that the Kassadin is pushing. Just gonna hold off that tower for a little bit. Kassadin is already roaming back down to mid. And it just looks like a continual off farm fest for a little while here. It doesn't look like anything. And no team wants to make a big risk, take too many big plays. Looks like there is going to be a dragon attempt here, though. Oh, no, never mind. Just a ward clear.
Yeah, I rewound that. There was no bubble. He just flashed over the wall, saved the bubble cooldown, wasted the flash cooldown.
Oh, Jones just missing his bench shots. Flashes over for RTX, gets Curse of the Sand Mummy. Bubble and Shockwave landing, and he will drop. Great combination of CC from this
Team composition. Looks like they're going to go for the dragon here.
Yeah, it should be a relatively free dragon pickup. The iBuzzy is still available to smite if he wants to, but he doesn't have a flash. He can't just flash over into the back of the wall and smite it. Peacemaker used, but nowhere near the dragon, really just trying to poke back. And that's the dragon, the second dragon now for Beach Kings. 3k gold
They're
lead.
just growing this lead, and the longer this game keeps going on, the fact that they're actually managing to take these objectives and actually get this gold lead ahead when they shouldn't be, when the enemy team has such a snowbally team, is looking really bad for Westside. This is not what they want to be happening. They want to be keeping that snowball going. They want to be keeping that pressure, but they can't do that anymore because this game is just dragging out for them.
Yeah, and the gold lead so far has managed to stay about the same for Beach Kings. The longer the game goes on, yeah, Westside's team comp falls off, but the less the gold lead itself means. It's less of a percentage of a lead over to the enemy team, and really, it's about that 20%-ish break point. Right now, it's only about, I'd say, around less than 10% of a gold lead for Beach Kings, maybe. I mean, 10% is pushing it, but they really haven't hit the break point to where a gold lead really means anything yet. The clock going on with Tiny
This is
Tanker.
still actually anybody's game. Yeah, clock about to get a little bit of damage on it.
That's
Tiny
just cut
Tank
out
is
slow.
Pretty tanky though, so you can't just ignore that damage. We do see a little fight going on in the jungle.
Mashing trying to get away. RDX getting caught again. Bearsalt and
Oriana Shockwave, and he will fall again.
Wow, that was little greedy there. He caught Matsing, but he didn't realize that Manny and Holocaust were still around the area. Tiny Tinker taking a little more harass from Clock, but he should get out of that safely. That's a very tanky Shen.
Yeah, Shen is actually able to tank a lot of this damage. He looks like he's actually rushing towards the Bulwark. There's a bubble going down on Buzzy here, but looks like they're just going to get away fine. Buzzy looks like he's going to try to get up to the top lane here.
Yeah, with
Let's
that,
see if he can help out that Kassadin.
with the Aegis of the Legion in there, that Tiny Tinker is really able to absorb all the damage with the feint from every single null sphere that comes his way. He has plenty of time to react to it, and really he's not losing any health from that harass alone.
Buzzy just dodging the Amumu bandage there, just doing his best to juke and get out of the enemy territory. Looks like everybody's just going to get back to their warding and farming now, trying to be as safe as they can. Westside knows that they're not in the best position. They need to be careful now. Another death could mean Baron and inhibitor pushes.
Yeah, one thing that hasn't been quite as accurate as the bubbles is those bandage tosses. And ironically, Chain of Corruptions have hit pretty much every time this game as well.
Yeah, he's actually done a very good job of comboing that, but it is also because of the combination of the CC coming from their team comp. Just because they get locked down so hard, it's also possible for them to move. They can't really move in team fights. They're stuck with the combination of all of these ultimates coming.
Flash on the man.
Flash. Huge amount of damage coming onto Mankey. Ace in the hole will finish him off. He did flash away though as a desperation move, but it will drop him, and it looks like West Coast is going to try and take advantage of this as best as they can.
Yeah, they have a 3-man stack on that inhibitor turret, but that is also a 3-man defense line with a great wave clear with the Varus. Tiny Tinker taken very low in that top lane now. He's stuck around quite a while, and it took a very long time for Clock to wear him down that low.
Clock is going to try and keep him here as long as he can, just to make sure that he doesn't end up recalling or teleporting in. Looks like RDX is going to try to get a little bit of harass down on Jones, but still no actual great siege going on here. They have a lot of good wave clear coming down from Beach Kings, so it's really hard for them to get a lot of push going.
After the kill they got onto Manny, that was a very quick pickoff, but iBuzzy was still in the bottom lane. He was looking to pick out that inner bot lane turret, wasn't really able to get close enough to finish it off. Now they're pitching up
RDX trying to come behind, he actually jumps into the Holocaust. Holocaust burning barrier, Shen being popped, Bear's being popped, he flashes to the other side. Shentar going down with the Buzzy, and Buzzy will drop. RDX needs to get out of here, he gets bubbled and done! Oh, Moo flashes into Curse of the Sad Mummy. Sona uses Crescendo to try to save her life, but she will fall as well.
That was brilliant kiting by Holocaust. Perfect time barrier, perfect time standing united, as well as the flash, just to get out of range of RDX and keep the damage off of himself long enough to pick up that double kill. He had that Vamp Scepter in there. He was sustaining back up in the middle of the fight, along with the ebb and flow heals from Matsing. He just barely lived through that with the combination of shields and heals, and now they're turning on Baron.
Alright, so this could be a big turning point. It doesn't look like the West Coast can actually contest this, not with everybody being down. Grand Skyfall is up in 8 seconds. It depends how fast they can drop this Baron. They are getting fairly low off of it. If Pantheon can get in range for that Grand Skyfall when he's up, this could be devastating. But it is falling very fast.
Yeah, it's a lot of percent health damage. We'll melt that Baron. Now Clock is caught out.
Clock gets bandage shots, that's the flash. Oriana misses Shockwave and he rift walks away just to be safe.
Naxo now.
But then there's a flash shot to Naxo on the ton and he will fall to Nami's tidal wave.
Oh wow. Caitlyn not quite as slippery as a Cassidy in there. He drops very quickly. 5v4
now we see a 5-man push going down mid for I just want to say Beach Boys so badly. Beach Kings.
Yeah, we have Beach Boys and West Coast here. Beach Kings and West Side. No.
West Side.
5v4 pushing the mid lane. Now West Side is rotated around to defend it, but the turret's dropping very quickly. And that was about another bubble lands on Clock. That was about 2 or 3 seconds of hitting that turret, and it already dropped to a third health. The next minion wave should finish that off, and it will mean an inhibitor before Naxo can respawn.
Yeah, this is a really bad situation that Westside doesn't want to be in. They don't have enough wave clear, and they can actually get dived, and they do get dived, and Verisol goes down. RDX will fall immediately to Chains of Corruption, and Shen will take down the Pantheon.
Yeah, that should be a free inhibitor now. Clock trying to poke.
Why are they getting caught out here, actually? It looks like that might have been a little bit of a misplay. Just kind of walked into the team. Curse of the Sam Mummy go down. Naxo dropping down. Sona's running for her life. This could be game.
They could very well finish the game right now. Only Clock and JKL left to defend their base. Clock is looking for a pick on someone. Wildcast taking down a third of himself, but it's not quite enough. Clock wants some action. He wants to defend his base, but he's missing his entire damage on the rest of his team.
Nami's ultimate is back up. They could actually turn this if they really need to. It looks like they're joining. Westside's doing everything they can to just try and poke them away. But the Nexus is now on the target. They're going to be focusing it down. It's going to be dropping down really quick. Nami tidal wave going across. Missing. Shockwave is totally missing. Nexus is falling fast, and that will be game for Beach Kings.
1-0 for Beach Kings. This is still a best of 3. Westside can still come back if they want to. That was actually a very, I wouldn't say quite a decisive victory, but there was just a point in that game where it was turned around very quickly. It was relatively even all game, but it was about right before that Baron that Westside just really wanted the mid inhibitor in that bot inner turret. They stuck around too long. They dove for the kills. They misplayed and were out-kited, out-damaged, and really the late game ate them alive.
Yeah, that was exactly the problem. There was 3 assassins on a team, and you know you need to snowball. If you have assassins, they need to get ahead. And the problem is that none of them really did. I mean, look at Cassidy. He's 1-1-6, right? He's got a decent amount of farm. It's not a bad amount of farm, but Cassidy needs those kills, and he needs that roaming potential. But he was stuck in top lane. He didn't get too many chances to do a teleport gank. I don't actually think he had any teleport ganks that came in that game. Just mostly teleported to save turrets and push and split push.
Yeah,
so we can see that the snowballing didn't come into effect for Westside there.
That's not something you can save a turret only for, teleport only for. They really need to use that aggressive. But now, it looks like we will finally, not finally, starting game 2 here. Westside versus Beach Kings. I keep wanting to say Beach Boys now. You have me doing that.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, The corners should be swapped here. Beach Kings on blue side, West side on in the red corner, and we will start this game hopefully very shortly. Both teams should already be prepared for it by now. We have no different teams for the next game. They're both the same, obviously. Game 2, best of 3. 1-0 in favor of Beach Kings right now, and all they need is one more to finish off this tournament.
Yeah, so West Side might want to go for something a little bit safer this game. We'll see how this all plays out for them, though. But if West Side loses this next game, that will be the tournament, and then we will have Beach Boys as Beach Kings, sorry, as our champions. But there is always, of course, comebacks, and we can't discredit West Side. They did make it this far, so they definitely have a shooting chance at this title.
Yes, they do. West Side, I believe they've been in every Amateur Open tournament so far, and they're really just want to look for finally winning one for themselves here. They've already absorbed a lot of the really just the fan base that's already, I would say, kind of, I would say it's tiny for us, but a lot of it is favored for West Side already. And it's just their repeated visits to this tournament that have gotten them that. And sorry, I keep getting distracted by the purple minions. Yes. Yeah. Are you there? You there? Am I casting alone? I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. Looks like the teams are looking for a break right before the next game starts.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
Sorry
welcome
about
back.
that. I was like, I had to hold that in that entire match. That was really bad, but I needed to go. I really needed to go.
Bladder
We're gonna
of
make sure all the
steel.
players are ready.
Bladders of steel here at Amateur Open. As soon as everyone's ready, we can start the game. I believe they should be ready relatively soon. Nope. Matsing asking for.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice that.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm not going to mention anything about the chat. I'm just done. We'll continue as soon as the teams are ready. I believe it is now clock with the power to start. Please get this underway now.
Whenever players are ready, they can start. I'm tired. I'm very tired today.
Oh, you're retired. No, you're not. You can stay
I
awake.
haven't slept in 2 days, man. I like before the tournament started, I grabbed a can of Red Bull. Like I was running home, I had to meet a friend, grabbed a can of Red Bull. I'm like, I'm gonna need this to survive.
I think you need to give Dante pointers on how to stay awake.
For those of you who don't know, yesterday during our stream, Dante fell asleep during a fan aram, so it was stuck on the victory screen for a good couple of hours.
Yeah. Luckily, we do have a second channel we can use to broadcast this tournament, so it's not entirely out. It is a problem, but it's not an unresolvable problem when this kind of stuff happens. Now we waiting on RDX, I believe now. Everyone
So
takes
$5 says R is going to be banned again.
yeah, undoubtedly. Yeah, I mean,
I
RDX
actually have a feeling that Varus might be banned out this game, to be honest with you.
I mean, he was really good at that Varus play. He was kiting around. It's not just Varus. A lot of AD carries can pull something like that off. Let's say like a Ashe.
That was more of a mechanical, like he just played that mechanically very well, is the best way to put it. And it didn't have too much to do with the champion, just his overall game mechanics there were absolutely stellar.
Yeah, the teamwork there, especially with the Stand United at the perfect time under that turret, the summoner usage, and really Varus is one of those AD carries that can't kite that well without his ultimate. and he managed to do that very well for a long time during that turret dive, and he stayed alive very well. RDX, if the RE gets banned out, I'll go back to he likes the assassins. He likes the RE.
Yeah, I've noticed
now
this.
with the Pantheon that last game, he likes. It's just the playstyle we've seen from him so far in these tournaments.
I think we're still waiting on RDX. Probably have to take a little bit of a longer bathroom break. Looks like the teams are ready. All right, we can get started.
Okay, are we ready?
All right, so here we go, guys. Game 2. If Beach Kings win, it's Beach Kings, right? Yeah, if Beach Kings wins this, they will be our champions. But we can't discredit Westside. They did make it all the way here for a good reason. So we see Nunu and Ari being banned out by Westside and Zach by Beach Kings.
Yes, and very quick bans there. Beach Kings knows exactly what they want to ban against them. All three of those picks actually bans very well known for the individual players they're targeted at. Clocks or Necton is actually.
Do you like the Nami ban there?
The Nami ban, yes.
Those bubbles were too good, and we see the Shin being picked up right away, and Naxo jumping on his Ezreal.
Yeah, they really had to ban out that Nami there. Bubbles are too OP for this. And they actually sacrificed the Blitzcrank ban. When they're known for banning both hooks in that bot lane, now they gave over Blitzcrank in favor of banning Nami after that last game. They realized the consistency that Matt Singh has with all those bubbles, and they don't want it. they don't want to go for a swim with that mermaid.
Zach is banned again, so Jones won't be able to get that. I'm kind of curious about what jungler he's going to pick up this time. Okay, he's going to stick with his reliable Jarvan. So we do have a very tanky front line, and we do have the common Ezreal counter pick with Lollicos back on Caitlyn.
Yeah, no surprise there. That's the third time we've seen that matchup in the last 4 games. So not entirely surprising they'll lock that in.
A little bit of change to a Tristana here, going for that late game hyper carry. Jace being locked in, so we can see a little bit of a poke heavy kind of comp going out. Sona also being locked
Oh no! Oh no!
You see where this is going, don't you?
I can see where this is going.
I called it. I knew where this was going.
So far, this is the exact same poke comp that we had yesterday. The only one missing right now is Nidalee. I mean, it's a comp that relies on getting ahead early. So far, it's...
But they've proven that they can play this comp to its strengths and know when to take it. But we can see from the enemy... we see the early game team coming out from Beach Kings here. But we can see the late game team coming out from Westside.
Yeah, and a lot of what Beach Kings has so far... Shen is not known for his wave clear early. If they put him in a 1v2 lane, they're going to push him out. They're going to poke him out again. And really just going to get a lot more turret pressure. Again, the Janna, I believe that was actually still used against the poke comp yesterday.
Yeah, Janna was the support they used yesterday.
It is still good for the disengage. It's still there if Matt Singh wants to play that right, and he can disengage. He can save turrets with Eye of the Storm, and really, I'd say one thing. Yeah, Twisted Fate right there. I was about to say one thing Beach Kings need is the wave clear. That's what they're going to have with the Tristana and the Janna and Twisted Fate combination. They can just AoE clear waves very quickly. Explosive Shot, Howling Gale, wild cards, and even the red card, all able to melt waves and really kind of pressure back any long poke sieges that Westside will be looking for. I would not be surprised if Nidalee gets locked in. I'm just waiting for Clock to click on it. And yeah, there it is, right there.
There we go. So we're seeing the practiced poke comp that these guys like to run, that we've run in the past. So we'll see how it works out against this very tanky frontline team that Beach Kings is deciding to run.
Yeah, and we know Clock knows how to land those spares. He was, I would say, at least a 70% consistency with landing those yesterday. He knows how to put all that poke down. It's a little bit... I would say it's actually an easier lane matchup for him this time. Yesterday he was against a Lux. Lux, with the Prismatic Barrier, can block a little bit of the Javelin toss damage. Twisted Fate, not so much. He doesn't have any lane sustain for himself. He doesn't have any way to block damage. He can actually stop clock in his tracks with the gold card, but that's really about it.
Yeah, and once clock hits 6, that's not too much of a threat for him. He could just cougar form away, have that movement speed buff, plus with the pounce. It'd be very hard to catch him in the mid lane there.
Yeah, and one thing that Beach Kings does have, they have the double globals. Twisted Fate and Shen, along Tiny Tanker again taking teleport on his Shen. They really just want to out global West Side and use that global pressure to really push back the poke comp, catch them out with the Destiny and Stand United, and really keep them down before they get too far ahead.
What I do find interesting is that Lollicos decided against his Caitlyn there and decided to opt for Tristana. I mean, they're kind of going for a more late game oriented thing this time.
And I
It looks
would
like
actually,
they're trying to keep their kind of late game centered gameplay style in effect. That's the way they played last game. And that's the way they've been playing almost this entire tournament. Is try to play for that late game.
and I kind of want to go back to the Tristana pick here. Yeah, it works great with the Janna because you have 2 knockbacks. You can keep anyone from engaging on you. But then again, Westside isn't a team that looks for an engage. They have the Sona and Hecarim there to engage whenever they find it's going to be favorable. If they can get a lot of Shock Blast and Spears, and even late game Mystic shots down to really poke down all of Beach Kings, and then they'll engage. Which Hecarim, great for turret diving. He can keep his health up, just with that W. I forget what it's called. I don't know Hecarim that well.
Spirit of Dread.
Spirit of Dread, yes. I mean, it actually heals off of all damage done around him, not just damage that he does. So he can really turret dive extremely easily. He can sustain back up. He can get a lot of crowd control down. And on top of the crescendo as well, that's a lot of, not necessarily a lot of AoE lockdown, but it's enough.
It's definitely enough to mess up the Beach Kings quite a fair bit. Yeah.
And really the bane of poke comps that they're known for is hard engage. It looks like Westside has actually tailored this team comp that they're once again bringing out to kind of work against that weakness with 2 hard engages of their own. With the Crescendo and Onslaught of Shadows, it really works well in their favor if they get caught out. They can disengage, they can run away, they can blink away, hop away, pounce, acceleration gate, whatever. If they find themselves in a bad spot, they can get away. If they find themselves in a good spot, they can poke or they can engage whenever they want to.
Absolutely.
They're really
I think a lot of this game is just going to come down to how well Beach Kings is going to be able to lock down the high priority targets by chaining all of their crowd control spells together. And it's going to take a lot of team coordination, and it might be a little bit tricky to pull off. Especially, we've seen Westside pull this poke comp off before, and they know how to do it properly. They know how to apply the pressure, and they know how to play it safely. So we'll see how Beach Kings counters this.
Yeah, and I mentioned I wanted to go back to the AD carry pick, but I didn't even go to that. I kind of want to compare Caitlyn to Tristana here for this pickup. We've known a lot of heavy push comps, and it's not really pushing that Beach Kings wants to do. They want to keep a push back. They have the wave clear that I mentioned from Janna and Twisted Fate, but Tristana isn't known as much for her wave clear. The explosive shot is able to melt minion waves relatively quickly, but it's not quickly enough. If they can get like a Piltover Peacemaker combined with the wild cards, yeah, you're not getting anywhere near those turrets. An explosive shot isn't quite as much for that. It can work, but it's not as great.
I agree. And I mean, Tristana is pretty notorious for her really, really bad mid game, mostly because the magic damage on her abilities doesn't scale too high if you're not building AP. And we know this is going to be an AD carry Tristana, but Westside has got a really strong mid game with all of this poke. They can siege really fast, and this could be a detriment towards the Tristana. If she doesn't get ahead in lane, or if she can't just farm extremely well, this could be a very Beachkins is going to need to drag this out as hard as they can.
Yeah, they just need to be able to outscale. They do have the late game hyper carry. That's probably why they went for the Tristana instead of Caitlyn. The power in Westside is actually fairly well spread out through all the game. Poke generally falls off late game, unless you're really extremely ahead. But if Beach Kings can manage to drag it out, Tristana is going to outscale the entire enemy team. Shen is going to be so tanky, every single one of his feints will absorb any poke thrown his way. Twisted Fate is going to be able to clear out waves instantly, along with the Janna, Tristana. Jarvan and Shen can engage whenever they want to, and Tristana and Janna are going to be able to push back any engages that come their way.
But we
It's
do
really-
also have to keep in mind Westside's really good disengagement composition as well. Their ability to just retreat and keep fighting back with their long range pokes. So this is really just going to be whoever can catch whoever off guard. Really is really going to determine a lot of these team fights.
Yeah, and it seems to me that and Westside knows how to pull off their poke comp. They've done it before, but Beach Kings really needs to know how to react to it. They need to time their abilities well. Matsing needs to get his shields off either on the turrets or his allies to block some poke. He needs to be able, both him and Lollicos need to know when to disengage whenever they need to. And it's not something that you can really take lightly against a team like Westside has.
All right, guys. So we are in the game. This is game 2 of the finals. Westside versus Beach Kings. Let's hear what you guys want to see happen in the chat.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see more crowd favorites for Westside, even though they are down a game. They're bringing out this poke comp once again because they know it works, and they really want to just make sure they don't get knocked out and swept out by Beach Kings.
All right, so we see a really hard level 1 going in on Beach Kings up to the top turret. Jace doesn't know they're in there. It's about to face check the brush. They don't have any crowd control spells ready though. Gold card will go down. Damascus center being dropped. He's switching back to hammer form or cannon form just to try to run away. It looks like RDX will be able to get away from this just fine.
Yeah, he didn't really start with any. He didn't have the acceleration gate. They didn't really want to get any of their team all into one position at the start. They do know, however, we have a pause coming out.
We have a pause. There's just a little bit of an error with the stream right now, so just gonna get that fixed up.
Okay. JKL is the one that hasn't connected yet. So when it is,
one of them hasn't connected as well. Okay, I didn't know that.
JKL is still sitting in base, no items bought, and I didn't even notice that. We're supposed to look at items. Come on.
It's pretty standard coming out of all of these champions. Jace got that Fairy Charm, and Fairy Charm also on Nidalee. These guys are going to be rushing their tier. They want to get that stacked as soon as they can. As we talked about this yesterday, this is a team comp with a lot of tiers, and if they fall behind early game, then it can be kind of detrimental because it takes a long time for that tier to get stacked sometimes, and you need that power. You need that power if you're getting ahead. But if you're falling behind, you're taking too long to stack that tier. You're waiting on getting more powerful.
RDX, I love you for making that reference to Lord of the Rings.
I still can't see chat for some reason. What did he say?
He said, Manny said potato, and then RDX said boil him, mash him, stick him in a stew. Boil him, mash him, stick him in a stew. Boil him, mash him, stick. Okay, anyway. We should be getting unpaused relatively short. JKL has reconnected into the game and should be loading in. The unpaused comes out, and we go back into the game. Westside knows that Beach Kings was poking around their red side jungle. They are not really looking to counter invade or even counter ward the enemy red jungle. RDX finally backing off just to heal up from the poke he took. No summoners burned. He did thankfully save his flash, and he should be relatively safe for now. No invades coming out, and it looks like Beach Kings were rotating back to their own red just to make sure it wasn't counter invaded. And it looks like they might even possibly be invading the blue. No, they will go back to their own red as Jones was spotted out by a bushwhack trap.
That's why we're just having a little bit of things with the stream going on, trying to figure some stuff out here.
Is the stream black for some reason?
Yeah, the client is covering over the game, actually.
That's not good. Dante, thanks here.
I hope he didn't fall asleep again. Okay, hang on, we got another call.
Dante, please. Dante. Okay, you guys aren't missing too much action. Nothing's happening quite yet. Not even any poke really going out so far. Manny is just dodging spears. No spears being thrown out. Actually, Clock is still level 1. He doesn't even have his spears. What am I talking about? Yeah, nothing going on. Sparring right now. no major CS leads. Everyone's still in the single digits. Even the junglers still have single digit farm. And one thing Clock is doing, and I've pointed this out before about Nidalees that are, the mark of a good Nidalee is knowing to actually put down a lot of your traps. And actually, Tiny Tinker might get caught out in this top lane. Shock Blast goes down to the sky is popped. Ignite even used, I believe. No First Blood. Actually, no Ignite was used. Just a flash from RDX. No, Tiny Tinker does get out. No First Blood quite yet. And that was actually kind of a wasted flash for RDX. And Ghost as well for my Buzzy. Both popped in that engagement. And it looks like we do have the stream back
There we
up. Yay!
I was just shoutcasting in another call the whole time.
Okay. Do have the stream back up. Yay! You're only 3.5 minutes in.
Okay, so we did see a gank going down on top lane there. Shen and Jace both burned flash there just to stay alive. And otherwise, we're still having a very easy game going on, passive game. Everybody's farming it out. Nidalee's just doing her best to farm from her tower. Twisted Fate's doing a good job of kind of trying to keep her busy at her side of the lane.
Jones looking for a little counter jungle there at the race. Not quite finding it. iBuzzy did just clear those out. Coming around with the double buff. He's still a little bit short of level 4. Both, he wants to gank on that Twisted Fate, but Jones is still hanging around this mid lane. He might be in position to counter gank.
Yeah, Hackerum's going to be going in here. It looks like he's going to try to get that devastating charge. Mackey's just trying to get into a position to run away. Gets a good spear down on him. A huge amount of damage being going down. But Mackey will get out of it alive.
Yeah, he did save his flash there. He didn't burn that to get out of the engagement. He's still just going to pop some potions, sustain back up with those alone, and he should be fine for now. Need to pay a little bit of closer attention to where iBuzzy comes in. He doesn't really have any vision of his own. No wards in that mid lane, really anywhere for either team. But Clock, of course, has a giant net of traps in his favor.
Absolutely. One of the good advantages of playing Nidalee is that you pretty much get free vision wherever you want to go. So it's a good thing to have. Always good to have free vision without having to spend a 75 gold on it.
Yeah, and it's one thing you need to make sure to keep up as much as possible. The traps don't stay there forever, but as long as you can keep churning those out as much as possible, no one can really get into your lane without getting spotted. Jarvan has a little bit of a way around that. He can jump walls. If he knows where the traps are, he can get around them relatively easily without getting spotted, as long as Clock still isn't putting actual wards out for himself. Kenwin hanging around this bot lane. He wants to find a gank, but looks like he will just back off to farm his own golems. Lolcost so far is actually taking quite a bit of poke from the Ezreal Sona lane, and he doesn't have quite the sustain that JKL Sona has, so he's sticking around that low health for quite a while.
It doesn't look like he would be running the lifesteal coin, so he's not regenerating quite a lot of health from these auto attacks. So it looks like there's going to be a gank going down to JK though. A huge amount of damage going down. She will flash. Huge amount of damage. Rocket jump going down onto her. First blood for Tristana onto the Sona.
Yeah, both the flashes there for West Side being forced out of that engagement. Arcane Shift was used, but it wasn't enough. Naxo decided he had to flash away. JKL actually dropping to that first blood there, and that was actually kind of a quick kill on him after that flash was burned, even before it. Now
they're
they're
still
going
hanging around trying to get another gank off. Oh, and the game has been paused actually.
one more time. Don't believe there actually was a disconnect. It seems like one of Beach Kings disconnected, but they haven't said who it was.
These DCs. It looks like there seems to be some kind of problem. Froggen, please. If anybody remembers Froggen's PC breaking almost 3 times during the European LCS.
Yeah. Is that when that reference was made?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. Froggen's computer broke on him, I think almost 3 times in the middle of an LCS match. And they had to keep replacing his computer, and then he had to load back into the game and do it all over again.
Yeah, it looks like Kenwin and Matsing looking still for an engagement bot lane. Naxo is still close to his turret with no flash. Just use the Arcane Shift, but he should be fine. Actually, he's out of mana now. Not even enough for a blink.
Alright, so we're just going to see everybody backing off here. Let's take a look at the CS scores now. We have Nidalee's 33 to Twisted Fate's 32, so extremely even there. Twisted Fate has run out of health pots, and he doesn't have any innate sustain, whereas Nidalee has Primal Surge, and is actually pretty decent heal with even a little amount of AP. And she has hit level 6 now, so she does have her Cougar form. Twisted Fate also has Destiny available.
Yeah, and the CS overall it's still even. Now we have a tier stacking on RDX's Jace, and he should be using that for quite a while. Tiny Tinker, however, still has not backed off yet, so the tier right now isn't putting him at too much of a disadvantage as far as buys are concerned. And yeah, it looks like Clock is also backing off right now to buy as well. Tier should be complete, and it is, along with Blasting Wand. Wow, that was kind of early to get that in there. Looking to finish off possibly an Archangel Staff as soon as possible to get that stacked up even faster. But those spears are already starting to hurt just with that one Blasting Wand in there.
And now we're gonna see these. Can we keep track of the Nidalee spears this game instead of the Nami bubbles? Let's try and do that this game.
I haven't actually been watching the mid lane. The directed camera hasn't.
I've been waiting for the tier to get down before I started it. Alright, so we see the blue buff being transferred over to Nidalee. Twisted Fate heading down towards the bot lane. Destiny is available.
Yeah, but he did walk over a ward right there. They know he's coming, and they are backing off very quickly.
Yeah, they're going to back off. He's going to return to lane now. Everything's going pretty passively here. Tiny more than happy to be farming under turret, as we know. He can see us quite fairly well as Shen under tower, so you can see he's got a pretty decent amount of practice with this champion.
Yeah, and RDX throwing out quite a bit of auto attack harass that Tiny Tinker is really using. Oh, now a shock blast to the face there, almost point blank. But yeah, he's used that feint actually quite well just to block a lot of the auto attack harass that RDX has put out. And Tiny Tinker once again showing pro under turret farming skills as Shen.
Meanwhile, on the bot lane, you can see Tristana almost has a 10k, or sorry, 10, not 10k, that would be pretty insane. 10 minion lead on Ezreal here. And Ezreal is opting to rush for that tier as well, also going for that Spirit of the Elder Lizard that Naxo always likes to go for.
Yeah, it's not really too favorable to be in a lane when you have a tier against a BF sword first-blooded Tristana. He is already putting himself at a disadvantage with that. It looks like he might still be going for the Spirit of the Elder Lizard item with the double longswords in there. And I don't believe he's really far enough ahead to justify that at this point. When you're playing
Buzzy and RDX going a little bit deep into the enemy jungle here. They will back off, trying to check if that blue buff was up, but it wasn't available at the time.
Yeah, Manny did pick that up right before they looked to invade that, and a little late to the party there. They don't exactly get that invade off like they wanted to.
You can actually watch bot lane. You can actually see the effects of the tier rushing going down on Naxo. He's actually finding it unable to trade with the Tristana, even when she's outside of her minion line, just because of the damage coming out from the BF sword, the auto attacks, and explosive shots activated ability.
Yes. I want to go kind of back to that Elder Lizard item that it looks like he's still rushing. He hasn't finished it yet, just still double longswords. And that could be anything by this point, but it is still most likely the Elder Lizard. It's not something you really want to build when you're behind. Blue Ezreal in general is not a build you want when you're behind, but the Elder Lizard even more so. It would probably be a little more beneficial for Naxo to build something like a Bloodthirst.
See a gank going down. Onslaught of Shadows and True Shot Barrage being pushed across. Janna's ultimate being popped. Shen's ultimate being popped. She's actually rushing back in. Crescendo going across, hitting the Tristana, but she will drop down, and Tristana will get another kill in this bot lane.
Yeah, Madsen actually walked past JKL Sona there, and he actually sidestepped the Crescendo in doing so. The Crescendo was whiffed. No one was hit from it. And just by walking through Sona, he dodged it.
It was like very well played, and it was actually very well coordinated. We can see that Shen is already back at top lane. He did burn his teleport to get back up there as soon as he can, so he didn't miss out on too many minions. Sorry.
Yeah, that minion disadvantage is only it's only 2 right now. He's
Draven coming into the mid lane, gets a knock up onto Clock. I can't say the name. Gets a Cataclysm down, and Man, I can't say these guys' names. Man will pick up the kill.
Man, or something. Anyway.
Lollicos actually getting a lot of damage down onto this bottom turret as well. They might actually just get this down right now. And that will be the first turret of the game for Beach Boys. Or Beach Kings. I got stuck in that.
That gank in the mid lane was... Clock actually burned both the Pounce and the Flash right before the Cataclysm landed. And he probably should have stayed it until after the ultimate was already used but he was a little bit of a disadvantage because he burned them a little too early. He couldn't get out, and he was locked down even further with the gold card from Manny there, and he got burned down pretty quickly.
Yeah, I have nowhere to run with the pounce on the cooldown and flash being used, so nothing to get out of that cataclysm. A little bit trapped in your own, in a little bit of a death pit, I suppose.
Yep, and Tiny Tanker, no, nothing really coming of that.
Just a little bit of basic trading. Tiny Tanker seems to like to play this game of just farming, getting his health back with Vorpal Blade. Doesn't mind taking a few attacks because he knows he can just sustain it back up quite easily.
And he's using that feint really well. He knows exactly when to burn it. Every time RDX has used that to disguise on him, he's been just on top of really using that as soon as possible.
RDX trying to get a little bit of damage on him, but again, Tiny isn't too worried about this. He knows he can get a lot of sustained back from Vorpal Blades, and he also has that Rejuvenation Bead. Not a whole lot of health regen by this point, but still a little something to keep him going.
But he still has that Giant's Belt and actually the Chain Vest in there. Sunfire Cape almost completed on him, but his Q, the Vorpal Blade, actually the regen on it scales with his maximum health. So as long as he builds that extra health in there, and it looks like he's actually getting cut out now by RDX.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage. He will Shadow Dash away. Something I just noticed, and I can't believe I didn't notice this. Tristana already has an Infinity Edge.
Wow.
13 minutes into the game, there's Infinity Edge. There's a gank going down onto Naxo. He's gonna flash away and Arcane Shift. Yes, Cataclysm in and stuck, and Holocaust gets another kill on Tristana.
Manny now eating a spear from Clock. He's looking for any Destiny ult in, but yeah, there he goes. He
Clock
actually
getting
goes
caught out here. Tornado's knocking him up. Tristana jumping back in. He's trying to go over to the Dragon Pit, but he doesn't have enough time, and now Beach Kings are looking to take this dragon.
I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of that Destiny was. He actually went back towards the river Banana Bush from the Tribush near West Side's turret.
I think mostly just to keep vision, just as a safeguard.
Yeah, but
Plus it's free assist, why not?
No, he actually didn't get the assist off it.
Really? I thought he landed a wild card on that. But
no, well. He was a little too late on that. Actually, he might have. No, he didn't get the kill either. No flash. Oh wow, RDX taunted up on her turret now, taking down to half health. That was extremely quick. Down to third health now. Tiny Taker's still on the chase. That is the acceleration gate, and RDX should get away.
And this is what I mean by Tiny Tanker sustain. We can see that RDX is winning in these trades so hard early on, and Tiny didn't even have any health pots. He just regens everything back. He's like, go ahead, poke me, I don't care. Go nuts.
He has that Sunfire Cape now completed as well, since he right before he returned to lane there. I want to go back to this whole Vorpal Blade thing. Since he rushed that Giant's Belt and oh wow, yeah. Actually, iBuzzy forced to smite that instead of letting the Howling Gale seal it away.
That Howling Gale actually probably would have stolen that if Tekrim didn't smite it. Forced to take it away from Clock just so they don't lose it.
Yeah,
so
and that means no blue buff on that Italy. Still 3-tier builds here. Oh wow, taken already low by the Infinity Edge Tristana. Doing Holocaust a good amount of damage right there.
This is actually a really bad position for West Side to be in. They don't want to fetch Tristana. This is the last thing that they want. They don't want the late game hyper carry. You're supposed to have a weak mid game already being very strong. This is not what they're looking for.
And that's exactly what Beach Kings wanted in the champion select. They wanted a late game carry like Tristana to be able to deal with the poke comp. I mean, it's the perfect late game hyper carry as well. You need someone with the long range to deal with it. If they wanted late game like a Vayne or a Cogmont, they're not exactly the best champions for a situation. You need someone with a good range and self-repositioning to deal with all the poke. Now, actually, one spear. Clock so far actually hasn't been doing that bad. He's 0-2, but he's still putting out a ton of damage. He has the tier in there, and it's still just the blasting one for the AP. But one spear took Manny down half health.
One of the interesting things about poke comps is even if they are behind, I mean, a good Nidalee Spear could easily just turn any fight, regardless of how ahead the team is. I mean, if she gets a good Nidalee Spear down onto the Tristana. Oh, actually, we see Sona getting dropped down, and that would be another kill for Holocaust Tristana.
Yeah, that was actually flash burned for that kill. It seems Holocaust feels he's far enough ahead, he doesn't even need to worry about the flash cooldown. Clock getting caught out now, forced to flash. He actually just
Clock will drop as well.
I'm surprised he actually left Cougar form right there. If he stayed in it, the pounce would have been back up for him to get out of the Cataclysm, and he didn't. RDX taunts up once again, actually losing. No, never mind. Not anymore. Losing the trade with Tiny Tanker. A little even trade there, and yeah. Turret still stands in top lane. It seems RDX really wants that turret because it's so low.
You know, so far this game is definitely going in Beach King's favor. This is exactly how they would have hoped the game to play out. Maybe not how they might have expected it. Oh, we actually see RDX running away after hitting that tower. Destiny being used to pick up that kill.
Yeah, it seems he also Manny flashed in range of that gold card. He didn't want to lose another assist to a bad gate from the Destiny, and he flashed to pick up that kill for himself. 3-0 Twisted Fate, 4-0 Tristana. It's an 8-0 overall for Beach Kings. They haven't lost one person to this poke in semi-engaged comp from the Sona Hecarim.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, and like I was saying, this is exactly how Beach Kings wanted this game to go out. They wanted to make sure, like, if they can win early game with a Tristana to the point where she has an infinity at 30 minutes in.
Speaking of items, look what Twisted Fate just completed.
A Deathfire, interesting choice on a Twisted Fate. You don't see that one too often. Usually you either see a Death Cap or a Lich Bane being rushed, or Zanya's if he tends to be getting caught out quite a bit. But
actually,
Deathfire Grasp.
The Deathfire Grasp actually is it's the Assassin Twisted Fate build. Instead of worrying about yourself getting caught out, it's working the other way around. You want to catch people out yourself. A lot of
Tiny Tanker getting a little bit caught out here. You're doing his best to run away here. We got 3 members of Cide getting in here, actually getting knocked back by Jace. He shadow dashes through all 3 of them and continues his pursuit back to his tower. Howling Gale going across, gonna knock up 2 of his enemy. He's gonna continue to chase. Janna's ultimate actually being blown, and the entire enemy team is here now. Clock getting caught out, big, huge amount of damage, and he will fall.
Yeah.
RDX now actually being pursued now. Getting Cataclysm and he flashes out. The pursuit is still on. Howling Gale just barely missing. He acceleration gates out and will be able to get away safely.
Yeah, and now Beach Kings is in perfect position to pressure this top turret. iBuzzy is forced back. RDX is forced back. iBuzzy isn't as low. RDX has to stay back. iBuzzy actually gonna drop now. Holocaust the Infinity Edge once again picking up the kill. He's now 6-0.
This is a scary position to be in, is to have a hyper carry like Tristana. Already so, we see Destiny going down. He gates in, actually stuns Ezreal, but the Sonic Crescendo will actually halt both of them in their tracks. He chops over the True Shot Barrage, doing a lot of damage. Flash Shenton, doing a huge amount of damage. Barrier being dropped. Naxo trying to pick up a kill and escape at the same time. Lollicot's picking up another kill on Shen. Rocket Jumpy trying to catch up. Naxo now just in a desperation move to try and pick up this, Janna, but he is about to fall, and you get another double kill for Lollicot.
That is a legendary Lollicot right now. 8-0 Tristana. That is... I don't even know... The Deathfire Grasp wasn't even...
Oh, almost taking down Tiny Tanker there.
I want to keep talking about this Deathfire Grasp item on Manny right now. It's the item you want when you want to assassinate this Twisted Fate. Especially with the Destiny, you can catch someone out very easily, and it's what he almost did right there, except he ate a crescendo to the face from JKL. Nice reaction time with that, but it wasn't quite enough to save himself and his teammates. He still got blown up, but it really didn't work out too well for them. Now Sheen completed on Manny as well. Bits and pieces of a zeal for the Holocaust as right now.
Should be going back to buy that right now, actually.
Yeah. It's like she's sitting
actually
out.
A full Phantom Dancer. I didn't even bother to check her gold. Full Phantom Dancer coming out for Holocaust. This is going to be quite an interesting team fight. See, West Side needs to get a really hard poke down onto Tristana. Make sure she can't do anything in the fights. Otherwise, I don't think these things are going to go in their favor.
It's not something they can really do that well right now either. Look at the gold. We haven't even looked at it in a long time. It's 9,000 in Beach King's favor. And you have to go back to the whole thing about poke comps. Now JKL getting
caught out here. Huge amount of burst damage. Deathfire Jasper putting count. He actually didn't drop. They thought that would finish him off, but Matt Singh would just finish him off by himself.
They thought the kill was done and they just walked away. Matt Singh picking up the kill with the Zephyr damage. Now RDX actually losing a duel with Shen. Yeah, that's just a very bad... Oh, Matt Singh almost going down. 1 pounce. Oh, the flash
actually flashing over the wall. Tristana will rocket jump. She switches back to human form, actually just kind of gives up, I guess. Now Matt Singh is getting very low. Actually drops down to the Ezreal, but... I mean, Tristana is just cleaning up the rest of this.
Matt Singh was kiting around so long and still didn't get out. Now Manny looking to get in this top lane, but RDX did actually just back off there.
Just got away from that.
But that's 2 turrets are going to go down now in each lane. One in each lane, I'm sorry. 2 turrets, one in, you know what I mean.
we'll get the tier 2 turrets, one in mid and top.
Yes. Twist of Fate, now with that Sheen in there, not quite a Lich Bane, but the Sheen should still be able to melt it very quickly. And actually, bot lane outer turret.
RDX actually getting dropped down really low in the top turret. Tiny taking ignited. He should fall now. Actually,
Nope.
Oh, he just barely lives at this, with less than how much? He has 70 HP. Just barely misses the Nidalee Spear too. If he gets lucky, he might be able to get out of here. Manny is actually getting a little bit caught out with the Nidalee and Hecarim on him.
So is the
doesn't
flash
have
up.
Destiny up to get out, and he's about to. He almost gets dropped down. Still on one. Flashes, misses the flash over the wall, and he will get dropped down by the Hecarim.
Oh, that was Flash. I don't know where he was going with that.
I think he was trying to flash over the wall. Maybe had a little bit of twitch and just stayed on the same side and didn't go quite where he wanted to.
Yeah. That's only 2 deaths for them. They're 17-2 right now. They're actually 12,000 in the lead. 2 deaths isn't really going to be anything. They might lose this mid turret, but it shouldn't be really too much. I had the storm not quite enough to defend. Oh, it actually is enough to defend it. Or not.
Ezreal still does not have his Sheen, so his tower taking ability isn't that great actually. He's actually about to get caught out here. Howling Gale and the slow going up. He's getting knocked up as well. He has nowhere to run. He's about to fall. Arcane shifts away, and Jones will pick him up.
Yeah, that was actually a very early exhaust coming out from Matsing. He preemptively used that, knowing that the rest of his team would be there to lock Naxo up and keep him from getting away. Arcane Shift, and he didn't even bother using it, I think, until right at the end, until he was already gone. RDX getting caught out, dominating Lollicast.
Godlike on Lollicast now.
Actually, it's 10-0 as legendary. I don't know why it said it said dominating on my screen, godlike on yours, but it's a legend.
Just Fate just getting in to help take out this turret now.
Tiny Taker 1v2ing and almost
finish
picking up
this
the
game
clutch.
off now by the looks of it.
Oh wow. Mid lane inhibitor going down, by the way.
There doesn't seem to be much that Westside can do. Claw getting a little bit caught out of position here. He should be able to get away with Nidalee's passive push here.
He is
Be able to run away with Prowl. Don't think it's going to be very easy for them to catch up to him. He should be able to get away just fine.
That spear was doing nothing to the Aegis of the Legion on Tiny Tanker. Oh.
Tiny just doesn't even care. He's saying, "You're mine, cat, and I'm coming to get you."
Flash
That's actually awesome, doing a huge amount of damage. But Primal Surge will actually heal her up quite a bit. Rest of the team is coming here. Lollicast pretty much one-shots her. Tiny Tank picks up the kill though.
Oh wow. This
Oh my
game is just... I don't want to say it's hopeless from Westside. As a caster I can't sound too pessimistic, but it is now...
It's going to take a big mess up for them.
It will take a monumental throw from Beach Kings by this point.
Either that or some of the most mechanically skilled play we've ever seen in League of Legends history.
This is definitely true. More spears need to land, more miracle escapes. But, I mean, Beach Kings are blowing long cooldowns for, like, pointless kills right now. That's the second time a flash has been used to needlessly pick up a kill. Flash Taunt, earlier it was a flash auto attack from Lollicast just to pick up a support kill. They realize how far they are ahead, and they don't really care what they burn. That may actually be their undoing eventually if this game ends up going too long, though.
Sorry, excuse me. Oh, geez, sorry. I was eating a little bit of my my Chinese takeout there. Yes, you know, we've seen Westside use this poke comp, and we've seen how devastating it can be. Especially, we've seen it against a comp very similar to this yesterday. Gawk actually getting caught out a little bit here. Tiny Taker's falling down in the top lane. And,
yeah, Tiny Taker
be an advantage that Westside might want to take advantage of.
Now, one thing we're not really seeing is a whole lot of vision being thrown out. There's not really a whole lot of aggressive wards or really defensive wards for either team. A few up in that red side jungle for Beach Kings, but that's really it. It seems they want to pressure down one of these side lane turrets relatively soon.
In a little bit of trouble here, but he's actually going to get saved by by Jones here. Huge amount of damage coming out to Nidalee, and she will drop almost instantly. Cataclysm onto Naxo, and he has to flash out of it.
Yeah, both flashes getting used there, but Naxo's getting
actually jumping onto the turret. The barrier goes down. He tries to Arcane shift away, but he will fall. Legendary still on Lollicast.
Yeah, that's a very fed Tristana. He almost has that last whisper in there as well with that pickaxe. And oh, now RDX getting knocked up a bit. Jones a little too low to deter that. No, he will keep going. He's actually still going. That's
Oh, how we how Janna's ultimate being used to blow him backwards just to get the kill. And a flash as well being burned.
yeah, that's more legendary onto Lollicoffs there. Looks like Jones will rotate around to pick up this blue buff, but Lollicoffs now pushing on the bottom inhibitor turret alone.
He doesn't even seem to be worried. He could just kite anybody who comes near him.
And we have a surrender vote.
All right, there we
Aw,
go.
I like-
So that'd be 2 wins then, wouldn't it? This is our champion.
2-0.
Beach Kings are our champions, guys. Congratulations.
West Side denied again in the Amateur Open, third week in, and they still don't get anything out of it. They got so close. They pulled out the poke comp that worked for them once, but Beach Kings reacted so well to it. They were able to get their Tristana fed early, just like they planned on it, and they did pull out the win 2-0, sweeping West Side.
Oh, that was a really good game. Honestly, that was it was really well played by Beach King. I want to keep saying Beach Boys. It was really well played by Beach Kings, and I'm really impressed by the way that they worked their team comp so perfectly.
And we are done. That is week 3 of the Amateur Open, guys. Join us next week. The times shall be posted up or relatively soon, I believe. Muddy should have the information on that. Join us next time. Sign up, and you can give them the whole rundown.
Yeah, so just below the stream, guys, you can see a bunch of links. You can help donate to the stream, help keep this tournament running, keep these amateurs in the Cide. We always want to support our these guys are athletes. This is hard work, guys, and we also want to support the whole promotion of the tournament. So if you guys could be generous to donate, that'd be very excellent. You can also sign up for the next tournament. There's a big Google icon right below that. You can check that out. Sign up. You have to be Gold 1 and below. Nobody above Platinum 5. Or nobody above in Platinum. You can't be in Platinum to register for these tournaments. You can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. And if you're interested in joining our crew, just click on the little Mudkip icon at the bottom and you can I guess join whatever division you're interested in. There's a couple of options there.
And yeah, very well done.
All right. Have a